go. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Extra Point Podcast, where we may miss the point, but we will not miss
The
the
extra
extra
point.
point. Now, today's bating. Anyway, so today's podcast is going to be somewhat the same, somewhat different. We have a bit of a controversial subject that we're wanting to discuss. Just fair warning, we do not condone the actions or words spoken by the individuals or parties that are involved in the issue. Of course, we are talking about the Washington football team and John Gruden. We're not going to repeat or say anything that was said on air. Just know that the tones were racial and sexual in subject and should not be repeated by anybody. So, starting off, the Washington football team. Also, Prodigy is not here today. I am joined here by Young Blood only. Prodigy said that if he has time, he might stop in later, but he is busy doing something right now. So, the Washington football team, long story short, the NFL fined the Washington football team $10 million as a result of an investigation into the team's culture, including allegations of sexual harassment and other workplace misconduct. Long story short, there. So, Hunter, you've been doing a lot of research regarding this issue as far as John Gruden is concerned.
Yes. So I've been following the coverage by different analysts and such, and a few things have come to mind. Me, the takes. So Tony Dungy on Sunday Night Football, when there was just the first comment was out, had tried to move it along and just say, "Hey, we learned," and move on. However, once the rest of the emails came out, they were suddenly no longer. He was under fire for those comments, and he's now reversed course. But it is an awkward stance to be in. I don't. I think he believed genuinely that it was just a one comment thing and wanted to be forgiving, but upon seeing that it was a history of it, knew that wasn't possible. But I do not think he deserves criticism for trying to be forgiving initially. I also just assumed that we were going to just move on, to be honest, up until the rest of the emails came out.
Yeah, honestly, it was the second set of emails that fucked Gruden over, in my opinion. But here's the thing, though. I do have to say, and this may sound extremely fucked up, this situation was probably a godsend for Urban Meyer.
Oh yeah.
Because, I mean, we touched
Yes.
base on this last podcast episode, the situation about Urban Meyer. Go ahead and check it out if you have the time. But,
The catch.
so, here's the thing, though. This issue going on, I guarantee you, it's not going to end at Gruden. Like, with the NFL's new
I
stances,
hope not.
yeah, with the NFL's new stances towards racial equality, sexual equality, and all that stuff, there's no way that Gruden's going to be the only one under fire. And from what I've heard, he isn't.
Yeah, there was a thing, though. I don't actually think of it as that a big deal. But Adam Schefter has also come under fire under
Yeah,
these.
I actually heard about that this morning. He's the ESPN analyst, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the one who breaks all the big NFL news. For example, he's the one who reported on draft day that Aaron Rodgers wanted out of uh, Green Bay.
Oh, he should just be fired for that alone, getting my fucking hopes up.
Right? But apparently, for those that don't know, he had said he was maintaining a neutral stance during the 2011 lockout, but he apparently actually sent a report to the of the then Redskins and
At the
let him
time, Redskins, now Washington football team. Yeah.
yes, thank you, and let him edit the report before he published it, which it's bad, but like I'm sorry, it doesn't equate in any way, shape, or form that he let a he did a political thing to further his career 10 years ago.
From what I've heard, he didn't do anything near the lines of what Gruden did. So I mean,
Yeah, he just basically let, instead of reporting the complete truth, he let another team's owner edit the report to make it more favorable to the owners, and that's it. That's literally it.
all right. So we're not going to spend too much time discussing the Washington football team and Gruden issue, but because currently, right now, the situation is ongoing,
T-
and as of
Touchdown, Zach Ertz. By the way, we are recording live during the Tampa and Eagles game, so if any scores, I'll know as they happen.
Yep. So anyway, like I was saying, we're not going to touch too much on the Gruden issue and the Washington football team issue, mainly because the situation is still ongoing. All everybody needs to know is John Gruden took whatever shred of dignity he had left and fell on his sword and walked away. And for that, I can actually respect him. He put the team ahead of himself. He may be a piece of shit, a fucking racist, sexist piece of shit at that. But a lot of coaches and a lot of players would drag the team down with them, and that just I honestly think that goes to show how much he actually cares about the Oakland Raiders as a franchise to actually be willing to do that.
I little bit. I am iffy on that. I think it's more of a self-preservation thing. You resign so you're not fired because resigning
Oh,
looks better.
of course it's a self-preservation thing, but I'm just saying like
But he does
every
clearly care about the Raiders.
that's no debate right there. I mean, like he has history with the Raiders, like a long storied history dating back to like the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
So, because you had the whole Bucks Super Bowl.
Another reason we're not going to be playing this out too long is if you're watching this, you probably follow sports news and you've heard a lot about it as well.
Yeah. So anyway, like if there's any further developments on the situation regarding Gruden, Washington, or anybody in the NFL, we'll be sure to touch base with that. But for now, we're going to get on to our regularly scheduled program, which is going over the previous week of games and predicting
And
this week's games. So,
and dear NFL teams, you might want to hire us because we do not miss the extra point.
dear Green Bay Packers, I am writing to you from a podcast known as The Extra Point, where we may miss the point, but we will not miss the extra point. I am looking for a job as a kicker. Hire me.
Well, I mean, it's not like we could do much worse.
True.
13 missed extra points in one day.
I only counted 12. I must have missed one. But we will get to the kick fiasco later. I think I want to save that game for last.
Oh, I didn't. I just meant it as a whole. It wasn't just the Green Bay game.
Oh, I'm just saying, I'm saving the Green Bay game for last because I have so much shit to talk on that game.
Oh yeah.
So, starting off Thursday night football, we had the LA Rams versus the Seattle Seahawks, and
Down goes Russell. I mean, that's the real story of the game.
he needs to get in contact with a finger specialist.
Jet.
I'll just let your minds wander to that joke for exactly who I'm talking about there. Anyway, so the final score was 26-17. Honestly,
Honest,
go ahead.
Geno Smith didn't do as bad as I was expecting, but I do not like the narrative that's been getting played of him playing great, because in the end he did still throw the interception that kept him out of it.
Yeah, I mean,
Richard Sherman is out for the game, hamstring injury. Anyways, you were saying
it's always the fucking hamstring.
it really is. I don't know why. It's not always. This isn't a normal thing, right?
Eh,
There's an unusually high number of hamstring injuries.
I mean,
Or
CM,
at least it feels that way.
fucking Saquon and CMC got taken out because of hamstring injuries last year. I mean, it's a pretty average thing, honestly.
Okay.
But anyway, as I was saying, the fuck was I saying? Oh yeah, Geno Smith. I'm not going to fucking lie. I know Geno Smith played last year, but every time I see Geno Smith on the field, I'm like, wait, Smith still fucking plays?
He's younger than Russell Wilson.
I know, but that's the fucking weird thing about it. Like, you barely ever hear anything about Geno fucking Smith, and it's like, he's one of the fucking people that the fucking Jets ruined. Like,
You're right. One of the many.
yeah, like, there's a whole laundry list of fucking people the Jets ruined that we could fucking name off. Speaking of which, one of them's on their team. What fucking wide receiver? What's his name? That fucking. Hold on. What was that fucking receiver's fucking name? He got traded to him, I think, this year or last year.
I have no idea. Jamison Crowder's the only guy I can
Crowder,
think of,
yeah.
but is he not still on the Jets?
No, he's on the fucking Jets. It's not fucking Crowder. Hold on, I'm looking up the.
I was like,
I'm
I was
looking up the
pretty
fucking Jets lineup real quick.
Well, we're on the topic of the Jets. Whenever we saw them, we saw Jets fans in London, and I'm just like, you could literally pick any team, and you picked the Jets. Why? I don't understand that one.
No idea. Didn't Corey Davis get traded to him?
Corey Davis.
Wasn't he for the Titans?
Yes, he was on the Titans.
Yeah, so Corey Davis is another person that they're currently ruining. But anyway, back to the Seattle and LA game. So, let me pull this back up. I need to look up the fucking stats for the game.
I got him up if you want.
Yeah, I need the stats for the overall
All
for
right.
the quarterbacks and stuff.
So Stafford had 365 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Now, Geno and Russell Wilson were basically identical. Russell had 111 for 16 with 152 yards, one touchdown, and one interception. Geno Smith had 10 for 17, 131 yards, one touchdown, one interception.
Yeah, I mean, so 10 for 17, like, because he came in, like, what, third quarter?
Second quarter?
Second quarter. So, I mean, 10 for 17, 131 yards, a touchdown, interception on your first game back. I mean, it's not that
Oh,
it's not bad, but, I mean, it's not, like...
I think the thing that makes it look better is the idea that you look at him and Russell Wilson and they look identical, but the numbers just aren't good. I don't think they're. I'm interested to see what happens this week. Hopefully, bad things, but
Okay, so I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, especially from our Seattle Seahawks fans, but I have to say it. Russell Wilson is honestly the most overrated quarterback in the
Ooh.
NFL.
Wow, the most overrated.
Okay, so
Uh,
think about it, right? Every year, people put the Seattle Seahawks and Russell Wilson on a pedestal. Like they expect great things from them, expect them to make a Super Bowl run, go to the playoffs, whatever. I mean, that's fine. Everybody and their team should have that expectation. But what people do not realize
oh,
is that
okay.
what people do not realize, Hunter, is like every single year since their last Super Bowl appearance, Russell Wilson has declined more and more
It's the Tom Brady effect.
with each year. I mean, you can blame it on Tom Brady. I mean, at first I might have agreed with you, like the first few years, but enough time has passed for them to get over it. I mean, yeah, big whoop. Y'all didn't run the ball on the 1 yard line and you're fucking stupid for it, and I will knock you every single fucking day for doing that.
That's what some people are saying is happening to Patrick Mahomes. Is why I brought it up.
Honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, as great as Mahomes is, as great as that offense is, with that defense, they were never going to make the playoffs again. I mean, like, not this year at least. Like,
Touchdown, Antonio Brown.
yay, points. Anyway, so, and I don't know
Wait, boo, points.
why.
Because it's points for my opponent.
I was about to say, I'm not fucking playing you. Anyway, so I don't know if you agree with me on the whole issue with Mahomes and the defense and like relying too much on.
So the best point I see made on it is the defense really has always been this bad. The issue is Mahomes is finally no longer playing this over exemplary offense that is able to overcome the defense.
I am also going to say this. Last year's schedule for the Kansas City Chiefs wasn't exactly the hardest schedule in the NFL.
Though they do, that's one of the things like that in their defense. All three of their losses were to Form 1 teams, and now their next several weeks are going to be cupcake games.
Yeah, I actually picked the Washington football team to beat them.
Oh, okay.
Which, I mean, kind of a bold claim there, but with how Mahomes has been regressing these past few weeks, the fact that it's in Washington on Sean Taylor's retirement day and they need some sort of distraction to get everybody off their back, I honestly think the football team might actually pull off an upset. But anyway, back to my previous point about Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
As I stated, Russell Wilson, and crucify me all you want, is the most overrated quarterback in the NFL. Not saying that he is a bad quarterback, but, and Hunter, you can attest to this, disagree with me, I don't really care. His playoff track record since that Super Bowl, as you mentioned, the Tom Brady effect, if you guys want to blame it on Brady, doesn't really matter. I honestly just think that as a team, the Seattle Seahawks and Wilson have slowly regressed. And, like, let's think about it, right? He has, right now, Chris Carson is out, that's fine. But you still have players like Tyler Lockett on that team. Fucking,
DK Metcalf.
Yeah, DK Metcalf, probably one of the best wide receivers, in my opinion, in the NFL right now.
Certainly the most intimidating.
Highly underrated fucking receiver. I mean, hey, maybe he could be a fucking quarterback. I don't know. I've never seen him do a trick play. I mean, a lot of those A lot of those fucking trick plays where wide receivers throw the fucking balls and shit. Like you would think they'd be able to have a career as a quarterback at times. So who fucking knows? Anyway, so like you have Metcalf, you have Tyler Lockett, you have fucking Chris Carson, but outside of that and Wilson, who does this? Who does Seattle really have? I feel like the Legion of Boom is gone, so their defense isn't as good as it once was. Meaning you have and I think from what I remember, Wilson is one of the most rushed quarterbacks.
Yeah, that offensive line is terrible.
Yeah, so I mean,
Which is why I don't think he's the most overrated. I do think he's not what his fans claim him to be, but he's not the most overrated. I give that to Rodgers, but
okay.
and again,
so,
same point as you.
So
Not bad, but certainly overrated.
I will agree with you on Rodgers being overrated. However, I do have to say that he has actually exceeded my expectations for this year because y'all heard my fucking claims the first episode. If you guys want to go check it out, go ahead. But long story short, I honestly thought with everything going on with Rodgers that the Green Bay Packers were going to be last place in this division. But apparently God hates Detroit, so.
Yeah, but then again, we've kind of known God hated Detroit well past football.
Speaking of Detroit, next game on the list, Minnesota Vikings.
My game of the week.
Against the Detroit Lions. Hunter, this game of the week, go ahead.
So this game was very interesting towards the end. You had Detroit going back down the field, ready to get their first win. Score a touchdown, just need the extra point to tie it. And Dan Campbell actually goes for 2 and gets it.
Yeah, and when they went for 2, like, you saw my message, and, like, I was messaging the chat watching the fucking game. I was all, touchdown Detroit, and I was like, you fucking idiots, why the hell are you going for 2? Like,
exactly. I mean, it was, I think, honestly, though, they were trying to avoid what happened, that last-minute bullshit loss by tying it up and it going to overtime.
And, like, at this point, like, I can't even make fun of Detroit at this point. Like,
no.
Their losses this season have been, like, literally heart-wrenching. Like, this is, like, what, the fourth loss they've...
Yeah, it's... the only time that the game wasn't super close, it was the Green Bay game, where they played pissed off Aaron Rodgers, which, well, I think he's overrated. You make the guy mad, he tends to kick your ass.
I mean, that goes to show for a lot of people we think are overrated. Pissed off Aaron Rodgers, pissed off Tom Brady. Before the season, it was pissed off fucking Drew Brees. Like, the only person that I think that wouldn't exactly give me any trouble, even if he was pissed off right now, would be Ben Roethlisberger.
And he was actually pretty good this week.
Was he, though, or was his line just fucking stepping up? Because, like, he still only...
Fair enough.
He still only did, like, what, 4 deep passes at most? Plus, they nearly threw the game away towards the end.
You're right.
So, I mean, like, I'm not saying, like, I mean, congrats on the fucking win, but don't get your hopes up, Pittsburgh fans. So anyway...
Did I screw up?
What?
I've got Pittsburgh in my Survivor League this week.
Who are they playing?
Seattle.
I think you'll be fine.
All right. But...
I picked Pittsburgh to win, too, so...
The Vikings... And this is also, as heart-wrenching as it is, it's also a really emotional thing for the Vikings, considering their kicking woes, that they would go down the field and have a game-winning kick as time expired. righting the wrong from the Cardinals game. Did I lose you? Bueller? John, you there?
Yeah, give me a minute.
Okay.
My friend's trying to call me. I have to answer him real quick. Tell him I'm
Yeah,
recording.
no problem. All right.
Sorry for the interruption. I had a phone call, had to step away, let him know that we were recording this. I'll more than likely just go in, edit that part out before I upload it, the moment of silence. But anyway, so Hunter, you were saying?
I was saying it was also an emotional win for Minnesota with their kicking woes, taking back what the Cardinals being the only undefeated team would not have happened if Minnesota could kick. And so winning a game with a game-winning kick.
Okay, so I'm gonna pull up the Detroit Lions schedule just to give you some emphasis on fucking this shit, right?
Okay.
So honestly, okay, so let's see here, blah blah blah. Where's the week 1 game? That's preseason. I don't want preseason. I want week
Week
1.
one was the 49ers
So
when they had that
41
crazy
30,
comeback.
41-33. That wasn't exactly a game within their favor. But okay, so these two games right here. Ravens versus the Lions, final score 19-17. Lions versus the Vikings, final score 19-17. Of course, everybody knows what happened with the Ravens. Tucker's
Mm-hmm.
kick, probably a record that'll probably never be broken. Speaking of which, did you watch that video I sent earlier?
Uh, maybe.
Uh,
Which
it,
one?
it was a video. Have you ever heard of the YouTuber 5 Point Vids?
I've heard of him. I see him on clickbait, but I've never watched any of his videos now.
So he uploaded a video like nailing the exact science and of the kick and how the trajectory needed to be and all that stuff. He actually broke down the kick scientifically, right? He does that with a lot of NFL situations or sports situations, honestly. He also had a video about fucking Kawhi Leonard's shot against the 76ers that I recommend checking out. But basically, according to science, Justin Tucker's kick is a kick that cannot and will not ever be broken, purely because the laws of physics actually go against the possibility of it happening.
Unless you use that robot. Have you seen that video that I mentioned? I brought it up when we had the kick happen.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I've seen it like by a man or
yeah, no,
woman.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, like
It was such a cool when they put it up full power. It rips the and it proves why a person could never do it. Not only could you not get your leg to make that angle, but also the power it took ripped the robot's leg off.
it ripped the leg off.
Yeah. I'm trying to find the video again, but it did end up kicking like a 120-yard field goal.
I think the longest field goal I've ever seen. Hold on. What was that fucking kick? Hold on. It was in college.
It was obviously, never going at, like, it had the legs straight up and pointing straight up in the air before it swung down for the kick.
Okay, so the longest field goal in history, right, is actually from a guy named Albine Christian. It was 69 yards. Nice.
Nice.
In 1976. Tucker's was, I think, 67, but
Yep.
you also have to consider, I think the field goal posts in college are closer than NFL. So I don't really know how that really projects into like what it would be for the NFL.
Went ahead and send it to the chat so that you can watch it on your own time.
Yeah, so I mean 69 yards for NCAA, 67 for Justin Tucker. Anyway, we are going to be moving on. Like, all I have to say is, Detroit fans, I am extremely fucking sorry for you.
Before we do, I disagree with you that the 49ers game doesn't count in this because they were down 38-17 in the fourth quarter, and then they came back and
I'm not
unfortunate
saying
play.
I was merely picking apart like games they lost at the last minute.
That was one of them.
Really? Because I mean,
they had the ball in position to score.
That is only 8 points, so I mean.
Yeah, and they were in the position to score. They had the ball, and they had a pick at the very end, near the end zone. Just.
I mean, it's obvious to say who won that Goff and Stafford trade. So.
Oh yeah, but like we knew that whenever it's happened. I think.
Stafford is one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the NFL. Like,
I think both teams won it, to be honest. The Lions did not do the trade to get Goff. They did the trade to get the draft picks, and the Rams were like, "You want Goff too?" Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, anyway, as I was saying, like the Lions, honestly. I feel sorry for you. Hopefully things turn around for you guys soon, but it's Detroit, and God hates Detroit. I can attest to this. I'm a Detroit Tigers fan. So, yeah, it's nothing but pain and misery down there.
Hell, you can just look at the state of the city outside of sports.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's not as bad as it used to be. It's been...
Yeah, but that's still that's not resounding praise either.
I mean, you're not as bad as you used to be. You still fucking suck, but at least
you're
getting better.
All right, so next game.
Okay, so like I said, Detroit, I feel sorry for you, but the next team that I do not feel sorry for, since we're going off of teams that have yet to win a fucking game.
Jaguars.
Jacksonville Jaguars. What on God's green earth are you guys? I'm sorry. Like, I've been holding this conversation back for quite a few fucking weeks. But, like, I'm trying to find some resemblance of a fucking football team. Like, I mean, I will give them praise for one thing. They are finally using James Robinson how the fuck he's supposed to be used. But
hey, they're not satisfied with 1-0.
Like, at this point, like, I think they're how many games away from breaking the record for most losses?
8. 8 more losses and they'll break the record. They've got a couple of games that I think they could win, this week being one of them. But if they don't get them, they are going to break the record.
And I picked them to win this week. I'm probably going to fucking regret it, but hey, I mean, this was one of the fucking games that during the podcast I said they'd win. So when we did our first episode, I said they
Uh-huh.
would win 2 games. This was one of them. So, but here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
As a fucking team, the Jacksonville Jaguars are probably, I want to say, the most regressed within the past 3-4 years, if not the most regressed. And like, don't get me wrong, I talk shit on the Jets all the time. We all do. The Falcons, yeah, they fucking blow games.
But at least they're in a position to blow them.
The Jacksonville Jaguars, honestly, at this point, I have a trouble even calling them an NFL team. Like, I could name college teams that could fucking stand up to them right now. And that's a bold fucking claim. Like, putting a college team on the same pedestal as an NFL team, but, like, what else do you expect me to fucking do?
Yeah, I get it. I'm not ready to go that far just because it is still the insane gap. And I think one of the things that's proven how different the colleges from the NFL is Jacksonville Jaguars with Urban Meyer.
And I think that's the problem, though. I feel Urban Meyer is still coaching like he's playing against college teams and college players. Like, I don't think he's fully grasped the situation that he as a coach is currently in.
He absolutely is. He even basically admitted as much by saying it's like playing against Alabama every week. No, Alabama is worse than all of these teams. That's not how this. You're in the big leagues now. You gotta expect competition.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you can tell as a team the Jaguars want to win. Like, they've gone out and tried winning at least, other
I
than
mean,
this,
they all.
other than this last week against fucking the Titans, right? 37-19, by the way, final score. Like the week,
Titans always rape them though.
yeah, the Cardinals. So, like, I mean,
They almost beat the Bengals.
yeah, I mean, they lost to the Texans first game. Nobody expected that to fucking happen. But then again, I mean,
Nobody expected the Texans, just in general, the way that they played this year. But we'll get more on that later.
yeah. So I mean, last week's game against the Bengals, like, they showed promise. And like,
Mm-hmm.
there's always flickers of promise within their games. Like, I think they've had the lead. I think the last 3 games they actually had the lead for a good portion of the game,
Mm-hmm.
and then it got all blown out of proportion outside of last week against Tennessee. As I said, speaking of which, Tannehill went 14 for 22, 197 yards, 1 touchdown. Derrick Henry, 29 carries, 130 yards, averaged 4.5 yards a carry with 3 touchdowns. So, I mean, all hail King Henry.
So you telling me that Urban Meyer can't finish? It was there.
You didn't
I
see,
took it.
yeah, you didn't see it, Hunter, but I just gave you the finger. So anyway, Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, 23 for 33, 273 yards, a touchdown and an interception. So I mean, like, Lawrence didn't do too fucking bad.
Mm-mm.
It's just
It,
the issue for this game lied on the defense and trying to stop Derrick Henry, which, I mean, you to be fair, the Jaguars were never going to win this game. If they were, it was a fucking slim chance at that. Like, the previous
I just
week,
compared the numbers, and James Robinson outran Derrick Henry. 18 for 149 yards versus Derrick Henry's 29 for 130.
it's
Derrick
just,
Henry had more touchdowns, but that's just a matter of the team being better.
let's just establish this right now. The previous week, the Tennessee Titans got upset by the New York Jets. Nobody saw that fucking coming. I sure as hell fucking didn't. But then
I thought there was a chance. I just didn't want to pick him.
the next week you have fucking pissed off Derrick Henry.
Oh yeah, I said I was like, there's no. I said it on the podcast last week. I was like, there's no way that they're going to allow themselves to be the team that loses to the winless team 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, definitely not. So I mean, we were talking about the fucking record, right?
Mm-hmm.
For Jaguars. At this point, fuck it. You want to have some sort of resemblance to your name or whatever the fucking word is. I don't really know what I'm looking for here.
Yeah, I'm not sure where you're going with this either.
Go ahead and break the fuck. All I'm saying is this, right? Go ahead and break the fucking record. It'll give you a nice feather in the cap. Whatever. Like at this point, you're not making the playoffs. Go for the draft picks. Pick you up some good defensive players in the draft. Break the fucking record. It'll be something in your books. Like, hey, we're the team with the most losses. It may suck, but at least it's something that we can say that we accomplished, right?
It's a shitty record, but it's our shitty record.
Yeah, basically. And at this point, I feel like that's what the Jags need to do. I mean,
they could get a parade.
Just at the end of the season, just in the schedule the parade for the exact same day as the Super Bowl parade, right?
Oh my god! And if Tampa wins it, it'll be not far away.
Just have a fucking "We Suck" parade on the very same day as the Super Bowl parade. Hell, you could even organize your fucking fans to infiltrate the Super Bowl parade. That'd be pretty hilarious. Just two parades going at it. I don't really care.
I would probably become a Jaguars fan for that. Like that'd be cool.
So anyway, I'm gonna go over these next few games, right? Dolphins,
Ooh,
maybe.
Interception.
All right, so the next few games for the Jaguars before we move on, I'm gonna name the next 6 weeks, right? Dolphins, Tua's coming back. Or not? Is he coming back? I think I heard something.
I don't know. I'll do a quick search.
Yeah. So if Tua doesn't come back, there's a possibility, right? Seattle, maybe. It just depends on fucking Geno Smith because Russell Wilson's going to be out for that game, but I'm still thinking Seattle wins that. Bills, Colts, 49ers, Falcons. So there are games here that they could very well win, like you said. I just don't see them doing it. They don't have DJ Shark anymore, who is arguably their best receiver on the team. I mean, disagree, agree, I don't really care. But, I mean, so like you said,
thinking about it, the thing that their issue is that they're missing defense. So what did they do? And this really sums up the Jaguars organization. They traded away a defensive player.
And so far, I'm kind of indifferent on this trade.
Yeah, the Darnold connection is just so fun. Oh, right, because the player isn't working out as well. That too.
I mean, last week Darnold didn't really work out. Speaking of which, since we are moving on, and I am currently within a state of fucking pain right now, Carolina Panthers against the Philadelphia Eagles.
I'm in a state of disgust. How could y'all do that?
You're in a state of disgust, Hunter. Oh, really? You're in a state of disgust? I mean, I get it. You're a Cowboys fan and you hate the fucking Eagles, but you can attest to this. I've talked plenty of shit on the fucking Eagles, and I am not even in their fucking division. This game pissed me off so goddamn much. Because, like, I don't know, did you watch the highlights or any of the game at all?
I did. I didn't. I watched the Chisel Adonis highlights.
This game's issue was not on the defense.
No.
Like, not until the very end. Like, the defense, like, and I have expected it during the whole first 4 quarters and a half, the defense did everything in their power to try and maintain that measly little lead that they had. It's just Darnold shit the bed. And, like, don't get me wrong. I mean, I want to try and say that this isn't an average thing for Darnold. And, like, I don't want to put, like, blame on the fucking... Put too much blame on him because, I mean, our offensive line isn't exactly at 100%, but it just makes me go back to the whole days with the Jets and everything, and I'm just sitting here like, oh God, please no, do not let this be an every fucking day thing, because that is literally going to kill me. Like, I am willing to let this game slide for whatever reason in my fucking mind. I have no idea why I'm giving Darnold a pass at this point. But this can't be an every game thing. So anyway,
I agree.
Anyway,
I think
to the stats and stuff. The final score 21-18. So you had fucking Jalen Hurts 22 for 37, 198 yards, no touchdown and interception. But then you had Jalen Hurts also with 9 carries, 30 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So,
God, that's gotta hurt.
yeah, so that was 2 rushing touchdowns. So anyway, over on Carolina's side of the fucking ball. That's not what I fucking wanted. Let me pull up Sam Darnold's shitty stats. Sorry, everybody, my computer's...
In the meantime, update to the update about the interception. It is under review, and it's been under review for a minute, so Bucks may get the ball back.
Anyway, Sam Darnold, 21 for 37, 177 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions.
It's like, okay, this is all right. 3 interceptions. There it is.
Yeah. So, this week, Carolina fucking has the Minnesota Vikings, which I'm actually confident they can win. There's no Dalvin Cook. Carolina's defense is still good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, granted, we don't have fucking J.C. Horn, and that honestly fucking kills a lot of things. Because, like, ever since he's gotten injured, that corner situation or whatever has just digressed, which is why I said I'm kind of indifferent on the Jaguars trade. I've still yet to see anything that really wows me about this player.
Mm-hmm. I get it.
So
I think that y'all got a good shot. I'm picking up passes ruled incomplete.
Nice. So anyway, my life is pain. Fuck the Eagles. We're moving on. Hunter, next game.
All right, let's go ahead and do that London game. We touched on the Jets earlier, so we don't have to discuss much, but the Falcons stopped the presses. They didn't blow a lead.
I honestly thought they were going to. The Jets had every chance to make it happen.
Mm-hmm. The one time I said to I texted my friend Dennis, who is a big Falcons fan, I said, "You're fucking welcome." The one time that I picked, I was like, y'all are going to lose. They decided to not blow it.
I mean, that was my exact reason for picking the fucking Jets. I'm like, I mean, it's the Jets, but it's the Falcons.
That's exactly it. It's like,
This wasn't an easy game to pick either way, honestly.
And I also thought about it like the Jets are coming off a win, so they have confidence.
Yeah, I mean, but then again, the London games aren't exactly the easiest to predict. Cause...
No. The only team with a home field advantage there is the Jaguars.
I mean, that's basically their home away from home. London loves Jacksonville.
And I honestly, it's just a matter of Jacksonville was the first team to do it, to go there, and they're the team that's gone there every year. Well, the rest of the team is kind of like, oh no, you take it, fine.
Ugh. So anyway, Zach Wilson, 19 for 32, 192 yards, 0 touchdowns, an interception. Michael Carter,
He
10
had no
for,
touch.
yeah, he had no touchdowns. Michael Carter, 10 for 38, 1 touchdown. T.Y. Johnson, 4 carries, 12 yards, another touchdown. So,
I think the word you're looking for was tie.
yeah, I always call him T.Y. You know, like T.Y. Higgins.
I can't tell if you're screwing with me or not.
That's his name, T.Y. Higgins. That's what everybody calls him.
You mean T. Higgins? T.Y. Hilton.
Oh, yeah, T.Y. Hilton. Whatever. Shut up.
That's why I was like, I'm not sure if you're screwing with me.
I'm totally screwing with you. Also, I may or may not be stoned right now.
That's fair.
Little emphasis.
Oh,
Little
Jalen Hurts just threw an interception.
Yeah, wow, that hurts.
Yep.
Anyway.
Get fucked, Eagles.
But anyway, something I do have to attest to. I'm usually stoned during most of these podcasts, so. Anyway.
Yeah, there's not really much to say on this game.
Let's go over the Falcons stats. Matt Ryan, 33 for 45, 342 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Cordero Patterson went 0 for 1 with no yards, no touchdowns, and no interceptions. Mike Davis had a rushing touchdown on the ground, and
I'm loving Cordero Patterson, by the way.
Kyle Pitts and Hayden Hurst had touchdowns in the air. So,
that was the story of this game. Kyle Pitts got his first touchdown.
Congrats to him. So, anyway, this game, not really much to say. Jets, sorry you guys didn't get another win. Falcons, congratulations on not blowing another lead. Up next, let us go. Who do I want to touch on
Gay.
next? New England Patriots at the Houston Texans.
The Texans acted like the Falcons and blew a lead.
Davis Mills, a hell of a fucking game. I mean, it's a fucking
Hey,
loss. I mean,
next man up.
21 for 29, 312 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Texans had the lead most of the game. I honestly thought the Texans were going to win this. But you know how fucking Bill Belichick is against new quarterbacks in the league. He just loves tearing them apart.
The thing that's with this game, and this is where I think we can begin in our kicking woes. I'm gonna read the scores by the quarter and see if you can figure out the issues. 6-0, 9-9, 6-7, 10-0. No, that was not a bunch of field goals. They just couldn't make the extra point.
Yes, so once again, welcome back to the Extra Point Podcast, where we may miss the point, but we will not miss the extra point. Anyway. And kicking woes is like the emphasis of the week for the
It really is.
So, let's see here. Mac Jones, 23 for 30, 231 yards, a touchdown, interception. Damian Harris had a rushing touchdown on the ground.
And he got hurt in the game.
Yeah, Damian Harris did go down. Hunter Henry had a touchdown. And I believe, where was that other touchdown? There had to be another one.
Nope, just 2.
So the other points came off field goals then?
Yep.
All right, so anyway, the Houston Texans. how do we gauge them as a team right now?
I actually think they're pretty good. Their defense has been fairly strong, and once you get Tyrod Taylor back, they're not going to the playoffs or anything. I'm not saying that, but they're a very solid middle of the pack team.
Which, I mean, is a lot more than what we said at the beginning of the fucking year.
I had them going winless, so
I mean, that got blown out of the water week 1, though.
yeah. That's the thing, is like they had them going winless, and now I could see them nearing 500.
I say
Nearing it. Like 4 or 5 wins.
that ain't even nearing it. Wouldn't like nearing 500 be like 7 wins?
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
So I mean, like, I see them going maybe 4 or 5 as well. Now, the New England Patriots, I don't really know what to gauge them as a team, honestly. Like, there's weeks where I see promise in them, and then there's just other weeks where I just see them shit the bed. And this is the same argument I have for the New Orleans Saints, too. So I mean,
Except I say with more of an extreme.
oh, especially with the Saints, it's more of an extreme. Like, I can't even figure out what the heck the Saints want to be like. They look like
Like the Saints are either terrible or amazing.
There's no in between. Like, it really depends on the week. Like, you are either going to get a shitty Saints team or a great Saints team. Just depends on how fucking Jameis Winston's feeling that day.
I mean, you'll get both Jameis Winstons in the same game.
I mean, fucking Winston, like, and we'll just move on to the Saints game, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
So, anyway, like, I'll go back real quick to touch up on what I was going to say about the New England Patriots before we move on, though. Anyway, the Patriots as a team, right? At the beginning of the year, they got rid of Cam Newton. I mean, as big as a Cam Newton fan as I am, I'm a Carolina fan. I will always have a soft spot in my heart for Newton. It was the right call.
Big Newtons.
Yeah, I know. Fake Newtons are great. Anyway, so the situation with Cam Newton at the beginning of the year, I didn't like it. I get it. It was the right call. As of Newton.
I didn't like it until I saw how Cam reacted to it, and then I was like, okay, if that's how he's acting publicly, yeah, he probably was problematic to the team.
I will tell you right now, as a Carolina fan, I do believe Newton was problematic. That is not a secret. Like, you saw him during the Super Bowl, how he reacted after, how he reacted after that loss. The fact that he was afraid to dive on the fucking ball.
See, yeah, I was going to say, the way he reacted after the loss, I have no problem with. Highly emotional situation. You handle it how you handle it.
And not to mention, the question from the interview was a pretty fucking stupid question.
But his statement after being cut is like, they couldn't handle my energy, and I'm like, dude, just shut up.
Wasn't he one of the ones that refused to get vaccinated?
He was, and he had already gotten the virus, and missed games because of it. And so they were like, we can't. There's no reason for them to not be like, yeah, you cost us before, and now you have the chance to not do that.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I'm not gonna touch up on my feelings about vaccines and the mandates. I mean, I am a personal believer of freedom of choice. However, I will say this: if that choice does affect more than just you, you might want to relook your ideals and figure out what's best for not only yourself but everybody around you. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep.
Anyway, so what do you think about the Patriots as a team so far?
I think they're going to be decent against bad teams and just not good against teams that are.
I mean, and let's be fair, it's a rebuilding process over there in New England.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna give Belichick too much shit. He doesn't have Brady anymore. We've all seen who's the better out of Brady and fucking Belichick. But that's not to say Belichick isn't a good coach. Honestly, I think, and this is just me stating it, as much as I hate Brady and the Patriots, I honestly think Belichick is probably one of the best coaches in the
Yeah, I was
NFL.
gonna say, I still, even though we've seen how he played without Brady, I still think he's the best coach.
I wouldn't necessarily say the best coach.
He's got a very uncanny ability to take away your best thing.
Yeah. So right now, regardless of their record and regardless of how much they have been dropping off, I honestly think the best coach in the NFL right now is Andy Reid.
He's certainly one of the most interesting ones with the plays that he's allowing the players to create.
So, anyway, the New Orleans Saints were taking on the Washington football team. Or hold on, no, was that this week?
No, it was. It was. It was the football team.
So yeah, New Orleans Saints won 33-22. Jameis Winston went 15 for 30, 217
Touchdown Fournette.
God damn it. 15 for 30, 279 yards, 4 touchdowns, and an interception, right? Alvin Kamara, 16 carries, 71 yards, touchdown on the ground. Then you have Marquez Callaway, 4 receptions, 85 yards, 2 touchdowns. Deontay Harris had a receiving touchdown, and Alvin Kamara also had a receiving touchdown. So this week against the football team was one of the weeks to where you got good New Orleans Saints. Now, to emphasis on why I say the Saints are a hard team to gauge. Week before the Giants, they lost 27-21. Week before that, they beat the Patriots. Week before that, they lost to the Panthers. Week before that, they destroyed the fucking
Packers.
yeah, they destroyed the fucking Packers. So, I mean, like, it's really hard to gauge this team because, like, there are
You had
games.
both Jameis Winstons in this game back to back. He threw an interception and then went and threw a 74-yard touchdown. Like, that's Jameis Winston.
Swear to God, I'm going to go downstairs and fucking bitch out my fucking neighbor. He's pounding on the goddamn wall below me.
I just thought I heard that. I'm like, nah.
Anyway, I apologize for that pounding. There's not really much I can do unless I walk away from the fucking headphones and tell the guy to shut up. So, but anyway, like back to what I was saying about the Saints. Like Hunter said, this game you got both Jameis Winstons. Didn't he like fumble, throw an interception, and have a touchdown?
I don't know about the fumble, but yeah, at least on the other two.
Yeah. No, I believe he fumbled. Hold on. I believe he did all 3 in 1 quarter.
Wow. That is Winston, isn't it?
Yeah, so Washington, let's check out their defense real quick. Damn it, doesn't show fucking fumble stats on here. I'd have to pull up fantasy later and figure that out. But like the Saints as a team, as we've stated before, there's literally no in between. It'll be either a shitty game or a good game. Right now, if I were to like gauge them at the end of the season, like for track record, I see them going 500, maybe a little above 500.
I was gonna say they had to go above or below with 17 games now.
Yeah,
I think they're going to 8-7
I give them 9 wins, honestly.
or 9-7. Because what I mean to say is they're going to get one. They're going to do just a little better than 500.
So I mean, anyway.
9-8. 9-8 is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah. Anyway, over on the Washington side of the ball, Taylor Heineke, 20 for 41 yards, 248 yards, 2 interceptions. Antonio Gibson had 2 rushing touchdowns on the ground. And that's about it right there.
Yeah, honestly. What do you think about Washington?
Honestly, before all this bullshit happened with what we touched on at the beginning of the video.
Oh, I don't mean they're as a franchise.
That ties into my reasoning for what I'm about to say there.
Okay.
I picked Washington to win the division.
Rudely.
This was before all of this came out. Currently, my pick for that division has to be Dallas, hands down.
Woo!
I mean,
I would say
what do you want me to say?
we also.
What do you want me to say? Like, I have to be honest.
To be in your defense, I don't think anyone expected Dallas to have a defense. I know I didn't, and I'm the Cowboys fan.
I honestly didn't expect Dallas to have an offense.
Hurtful. But okay.
I'm sorry, but, like, don't get me wrong. Coming off a fucking injury like fucking Prescott came off of, I didn't expect Prescott to do as good as he's been doing. Like, I expected him to do decent, but, like, track records goes to show that the injury that Prescott has isn't exactly the easiest one to overcome. Like, a lot of quarterbacks will come back and they won't be even a sliver of what they once were after coming back from an injury like that. And
you're right.
Prescott, this isn't like the first time Prescott's been injured. Like, he's had injury woes like what, the past 2-3 years?
He's had little short injuries, but never a serious one before this.
But it's always been injuries that have kept him out like 4 or 5 weeks at most. Like, there hasn't been like a really small injury that kept him out for like a short period of time. And 4 weeks in the NFL is a long time without your starter, especially with someone like Dak Prescott.
I think one of the things that's helped, that's the biggest reason why they're doing good, isn't just the defense, so that's certainly helped. You look at the 4 wins versus the 1 loss. In the 1 loss, Dak Prescott still played like he did last year, where he was throwing it 50 times in the game. They're finally getting the run game and a balanced offense. And so you have run.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. That's where the problem lied these past few years. Like, Prescott, again, touching back on what I said about Russell Wilson, another one of the most rushed quarterbacks in the NFL. Like, I'd honestly have to say more than fucking Wilson is. Like, that O-line gets pressured constantly during the games that they're in, and I mean, that could be said for any team. Like, every quarterback faces pressure, quarterbacks get sacked and all that, but like,
unless they face the Bills. Interesting fact that I learned: the Bills in their win over Kansas City blitzed 0 times, and they are the first team since they started doing next gen stats to ever not blitz once in a game.
I mean, to be fair, it's been working out for them. They put most of their power in the backfield and disrupt the receiving rather than trying to...
Tom Brady intercepted.
Yay! I mean, boo! my points.
Right? It's like, on one hand,
on one hand, hey, fuck Tom Brady. On the other hand, hey, I need those points. So anyway, since we're on the topic of Dallas, and we have to move on to another game, Hunter.
we them boys. And as contractually updated, with this one, we're going to the Super Bowl. Honestly, I feel really bad on this game just because of all the entries that happened for the Giants.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely. You had fucking Saquon go down. Fucking Daniel Jones went down. Somebody else went down too, didn't they?
Galladay went down. Rodarius something, their rookie defender, went down out for the season, torn ACL. It was just a bad game, and I'm going to talk bad about my own team. One of my own team's players, Jabril Cox, is a very classless individual. We can argue whether or not the hit was his fault. It is a fair thing to say that Daniel Jones shouldn't have lowered his head.
Hold on. So you
But-
said Jabril Cox, right?
Yeah.
Well, with a name like that, he sure sounds like a dick.
Right? Living up to it. But for those that don't know, there was a helmet-to-helmet hit that forced Daniel Jones out with a concussion. After the game, Jabril Cox posted a video of the hit and with the caption "handing out concussions."
Oh, dude.
Like,
I'd if I was his fucking coach, I'd fucking fire him just for that fucking comment.
I wanted to see him suspended for that because that's very classless, and he needed to get that. Like, the hit itself, we can argue whether or not it's certainly fair to say it wasn't his fault, but to brag about it, it's shameful.
Oh, definitely. So, I'll touch up on the Giants side of the ball, and you can touch up on the Cowboys and give them praise and suck their dick or whatever. I don't fucking care. Anyway, Daniel Jones, 5 for 13, 98 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Mike Glennon, 16 for 25, 196 yards, a touchdown, and two interceptions. Yeah,
including a pick six.
Yeah, so Devontae Booker had a rushing touchdown because Saquon Barkley went down again, and he also had a receiving touchdown. So those are the points for the New York Giants. Over on the Cowboys side of the ball.
So Cedric Wilson went 1 for 1 for 22 yards. Dak Prescott went 22 for 32, 302 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception at the beginning of the game. Zeke put up 110 yards and a touchdown. Pollard put up 75 yards. Schultz got his first 100 catches and his first 1,000 yards in this game.
Speaking of Schultz, I actually picked him up in fantasy last week.
Same.
I kind of had to because my tight end situation was a bit fucked.
I just picked him up because TJ Hawkinson has been shit.
Hold on. Where did I pick? Did I pick him up in NFL? I think it was NFL I picked.
It had to be NFL or either NFL or one of the ones I'm not in.
Yeah, because you grabbed him in Yahoo.
Yahoo.
Yeah. So.
And I didn't grab him in NFL because I have Kelsey, so like.
Oh, whoop-de-doo for fucking you.
Yep.
Although, to be fair, it hasn't really been working out too well this year.
No, I mean, it's been decent. But their offense had a touchdown to the 3 to CD, Cooper, and Zeke through the air.
Holy crap. Holy crap, I didn't bench Fournette. What do you know?
Oh, good for you.
Anyway, Oh, yeah, my other tight end was Higby.
Oh, yep. So in this game, Diggs got another interception, and Anthony Brown finally showed up. I was thinking about this earlier because some Cowboys fans were talking shit about Brown, but Brown is he's not a great cornerback, but he works good as a number two. You let Diggs take on the star receivers, so whenever they throw it away to one of their lesser guys to avoid Diggs, Brown can be there, and that's what happened at the end of the game in garbage time as he threw a pick six.
Yeah. Speaking of fucking which, I'm looking at my fantasy thing. Alphonse has Brady and Hurts both playing right now at the same time.
Yeah, that sounds like Alphonse.
Yeah, I know, right? Anyway, so anything else you want to touch up on Dallas and Washington before we move on?
Well, I'm curious where we got to Washington, but
All right,
no.
Dallas and New York. I mean, hey, what's the difference? They both suck.
But no. I I I'm just interested in this. Like, I know it's not the same because Brady's not there, but fuck it, I'll take a Dallas win over the Patriots.
Speaking of Brady, since we have to move on, and I kind of want to get back on track, because, yeah. Anyway, Dolphins at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Man, this was like that South Park episode.
I know, right? Screw you, Dolphin! So, Jacoby Brissett went 27 for 39 yards, 27 for 39, 275 yards, 2 touchdowns, and interception. So, I mean, not a bad game for Jacoby Brissett. But then we get to the issue. Tom Brady, 30 attempts, 30 for 41, 411 yards, 5 touchdowns. Blaine Gabbert actually went 3 for 3 for 41 yards, but that was at the end of the game. So, I mean, what could he freaking do?
Someone who didn't pay attention to the game obviously tried talking shit about Brady in the comments of a post saying, "Man, they benched Brady in the fourth quarter." I was like, "Yeah, because it was over. How did you not look?"
It was 45 to 17. Of course they're going to fucking bench Brady. Like, you're asking for, like,
And he was already hurt.
yeah, like he has a finger issue, doesn't he?
Yeah, they called it a quote football injury, and I mean he played fine through it, and has played fine basically the whole game tonight. So,
Hey,
but you know,
so if
but
an
you.
injury happens in Washington, can we just call all injuries football injuries?
Mhm. But honestly, it's if you leave them out, yeah, the injury is not severe, but you leave it out there and suddenly the finger breaks. Then what?
I mean, like it's simple football management. Like if you have a huge fucking lead, the last thing you want to do is leave in your starters because like we've all seen what happens when that goes down.
Yep.
It's
All right.
just asking to get injured.
Let's go through the stats.
So, like I said, Jacoby Brissett 27 for 39, 275 yards, 2 touchdowns and interception. You had fucking Miles Gaskin with 2 touchdowns, and then obviously the other points came off a field goal. Tom Brady 30 for 41, 411 yards, 5 touchdowns. Leonard Fournette 12 carries, 67 yards, touchdown on the ground. Antonio Brown went 7 for 124 for 2 touchdowns. Mike Evans went 6 for 113 for 2 more touchdowns. So Evans and Brown both had lights out games, which I honestly freaking love because I have Brady, Evans, and Fournette all on the same team. So that was freaking fun.
All right, let's see what games we got left.
So, the Dolphins, I honestly, I don't see them winning more than 4 games at this point.
Yeah, that's fair.
The Bra-
They
the
they're
Buccaneers,
just not.
the Buccaneers, obviously, we picked them to repeat as Super Bowl champions. So, I mean, so far so good.
Yep.
All right, so up next,
Uh, one of the Bronson Chargers.
uh, I'm just gonna go in order. Up next, actually, yeah, I did say I was gonna say fucking Packers and Bengals for last. Up next after that, since I'm saving them for last, Broncos and Steelers.
All right.
So, Big Ben Roethlisberger. How do I pick apart you this week? Because honestly, he didn't do too bad. 15 for 25, 253 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, can't really say much about Ben Roethlisberger this week. I don't really have much shit to say. Juju, though.
He took them apart without even asking for permission. I guess he's used to that though.
Okay, so let's talk about the issue here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. At least this week's issue, as we
I was gonna say,
as we
in general, or
in general, it's Ben Roethlisberger. I can't really say much shit about him. He had a decent game. The issue this week for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Juju Smith-Schuster. Honestly, that fucking sucks for him. I believe,
yeah, it
what was
does.
the injury to him again? Hold on. Wasn't like a torn ACL or something? Hold on, let me look this up. Because he's out for the season. I know that.
Dislocated shoulder.
I mean, like, all the TikTok bullshit aside, he is a hell of a fucking receiver.
He is.
And
Honestly, I think next year he's gonna come back really strong because he's gonna. I think he's gotten caught up with all the TikTok antics and such, but he's gonna spend most of the year without being able to play football, and I think it's gonna.
he's also going to spend most of the year without being able to do TikTok dances.
Hey, his legs aren't hurt.
Yeah, but you need to move your body too, and
Yeah, all right, fair enough. But yeah, I think he's going to sit there and have all this time to think about it. And I think he's going to realize, hey, I wasn't playing my best anyways. I need to step that up.
yeah. So I mean, I'm hoping with
Never say that injury is good for a player, but I think it's going to help him in the long run.
I mean, it's always good to have time away from what you're doing and reestablish yourself. So I mean, if Juju ends up being on the fucking Steelers next year, I don't know what his contract is or.
Oh, I was about to say, is that in question? Because I hadn't heard anything about that, but
possibly it's the NFL. Anything can fucking happen. So I'm not gonna say that he's gonna be let go by the Steelers, but like, who knows what happens in the off season? Maybe they decide they don't want him. Maybe they pick up someone to replace him. Maybe they trade him away, or maybe they fucking keep him. But regardless of what team he plays for next year, I honestly believe that Juju will come back even stronger. And we here at the Extra Point Podcast, as much as we hate your fucking stupid TikTok dances, we wish you the best in your recovery.
yeah, we do.
So, going back to the stats for this game, right? Teddy Bridgewater, 288 yards, 2 touchdown interception, 24 for 38. You had Cortland Sutton with a receiving touchdown, Kendall Hilton with a receiving touchdown. The rest of the points obviously came off of fucking field goals and extra points. You know, those things that you're not supposed to miss. So, Roethlisberger, as I said, 15 for 25, 253 yards, 2 touchdowns. Najee Harris had a rushing touchdown on the ground, 23 carries, 122 yards. Chase Claypool, 130 yards, 5 receptions, a touchdown. Deontay Johnson, 2 receptions, 17 yards for another touchdown. Claypool and Johnson, honestly, especially Johnson, what the fuck was that?
It's my pussy.
Dude, shut up.
Hey, we're gonna have the same deal I gave you earlier. Hey, no, come here. Same deal I gave you earlier. I gave you this chicken nugget and you shut up.
He's begging for a chicken nugget.
No, he's yelling at the door. I just used it to distract him. Here you go.
Oh, that's fucking adorable. I kind of want to see a cat eat a chicken nugget now. Anyway, so Deontay Johnson especially, like, he's probably one of the high points for the Steelers, I have to say, this year.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say he's their second best player. Well, second or third. I don't know if I'd put him above Najee Harris.
I'd say he is above Najee Harris.
But TJ Watt, I would say, is their number one.
Oh, obviously. So, I mean, over on the fucking Broncos side of the ball, they are who we thought they were. Again, for the second week in a row, the Broncos have proved that they were, in fact, the most overrated undefeated team at the time. And I believe that they are going to continue being the most overrated. So let's check up on their fucking games. Raiders this week, honestly, with the Gruden issue, I picked the Broncos to win. After that, you have the Browns. I believe they are going to get destroyed. The Washington football team. I believe that they are going to lose, not get destroyed, but hey, whatever. Cowboys. Obviously, I'm picking them to get destroyed there. Eagles.
Yep.
Maybe. So, I mean, Chargers, Broncos, and then Lions. Like, this team is not making the fucking playoffs.
That being said, I didn't have them doing that anyways. Even with the Gruden stuff.
Yeah,
By the way, I sent you a message.
I'll check it later. So anyway,
Okay, I'll just tell you now. I got like 30-ish, 45 minutes before I gotta go, so we want to skim through some of this.
So yeah, anyway, moving on. We're over halfway done anyway. We have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games left. 6 games left. So moving on. Bears versus the Raiders. Bears won 20-9. Justin Fields 12 for 20, 111 yards, a touchdown. Andy Dalton went 1 for 1 for 8 yards. Damian Williams had a touchdown on the ground. Speaking of Damian Williams, I believe he is out for.
Yep, he just got put on the COVID list.
Yeah, so COVID list, so he will not be playing this week. Expect him to miss a couple games. Jesper Horsted had a receiving touchdown, 1 reception for 2 yards. So, meow. And then you have the Raiders. Fucking goddamn, what the hell happened in Oakland?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, John Gruden happened in Oakland, but like, you think Gruden's the reason for their last 2 losses, or do you think it's something else entirely?
Well, this loss partially, which is one of the things that makes this the one thing about this game that was interesting, because overall it was just kind of I think this was the most underwhelming game, but the one thing that made it interesting is on a critical 2-point conversion attempt, the guy that Gruden sent Khalil Mack away, and then Khalil Mack gets the sack on the 2-point conversion attempt.
So yeah, I mean, this
Kind of beautiful.
This wasn't really much to fucking say anything about. Derek Carr, 22 for 35, 206 yards and interception. Joshua Jacobs had the only touchdown on the ground. So, moving on to the next game since we are pressed for time. Honestly,
Yep.
wish we weren't, because, hey, whatever. Anyway, 49ers at the
Oof.
Cardinals.
I just want to throw up this stat that just got put up on the screen. The Eagles have one running back and one rushing yard in the first half.
Anyway, 49ers at the Cardinals. Trey Lance 15 for 29, 192 yards, an interception. Deebo Samuel had a receiving touchdown.
Do you buy the nonsense that they would have won if they had Jimmy G?
No.
That's what I thought.
22. Kyler Murray 22 for 31 yards, 22 for 31 attempts, 239 yards, a touchdown. James Conner had a rushing touchdown on the ground, and DeAndre Hopkins had a touchdown in the air. So Cardinals move on to 5-0. San Francisco falls to 2-3. I believe the Cardinals are going to remain undefeated this week as well.
I don't know who they're playing, but probably.
Well, no, actually, I picked the Browns to win. It's at Cleveland.
Fair enough.
So, anyway, moving on. Speaking of Cleveland, my game of the week, the Cleveland Browns at the Los Angeles Chargers. Final score 42-47. Baker Mayfield 23 for 32, 305 yards, 2 touchdowns. Nick Chubb 161 yards rushing, touchdown on the ground. Kareem Hunt had 2 touchdowns on the ground with 61 yards rushing. We had a touchdown by David Njoku and Rashard Higgins in the air. Over on the LA Chargers side of the ball, give me a minute here to pull that back up because my computer's being a freaking piece of crap. Justin Herbert, 26 for 43 yards, 398 yards in the air, 4 touchdowns. So, hell of a game by Herbert. Eckler, 17 carries, 66 yards, 2 touchdowns. Herbert also had a rushing touchdown. Mike Williams had 2 touchdowns in the air. Eckler and Donald Parham also had a touchdown in the air. So, this
hell of a day to have Eckler and Williams on your fantasy team.
Oh, yeah, fuck off. I lost to freaking Luigi because of fucking Eckler and Williams. He also had Herbert, too, I believe.
I was blown away. In Yahoo, I sometimes just look at players just curious. I was like, oh my god, he's available. Let me pick him up and then tell y'all that he was available.
Who?
Williams.
Oh, yeah. See, I wasn't really worried about him because I have him in freaking ESPN league, so I mean, like,
Your money league?
Yeah. So anyway, I'd like to touch up more on this game, but we're pressed for time, so I'm just gonna push forward. Up next is the freaking, because I do want to save the majority of the time for the Bengals and Packers. Up next, Bills at Chiefs. Chiefs, we touched on them earlier. They are regressing. I don't want to say the Chiefs are a bad team.
If you do you remember, I said bold prediction they're going to lose by more than 2 scores. And they lost by 18.
I agreed with you, so.
Oh, it's really they both have great offenses, but one team actually had a defense.
And I mean that, as we touched up earlier in the podcast, that is the Kansas City Chiefs issue. It's not on the offensive side of the Anyway, it's not on the offensive side of the ball. It's on the defensive side of the ball. If you want to just, as we said, Bills, Josh Allen, 15 for 26, 315 yards, 3 touchdowns. Allen also had a rushing touchdown, so a total of 4 touchdowns on the day for Allen. Dawson Knox, 117 yards, a touchdown. Emmanuel Sanders, 54 yards, 2 touchdowns. And
Mahomes with 2 interceptions. He's already matched his total for interceptions on the year last year. So, and beaten his total from the year before.
Yep. So again, Buffalo Bills moved to 4-1. Kansas City Chiefs moved to 2-3. And like I said, if that defense does not pick it up, the Kansas City Chiefs may very well miss the playoffs this year. And I am picking the Washington football team to beat them this week.
I don't think they missed the playoffs, but I do think they're going to be one of the wild card teams and probably lose in that wild card game.
Maybe. It honestly just depends on. Hold on. Bucks have 21 points. Who the fuck scored to get? Because who the fuck scored for them? Because you had fucking Fournette on the ground and then fucking what's his name?
OJ Howard, Brown, and Fournette.
Oh, AB scored a touchdown for him.
Yeah, I brought it up earlier, and you going, "Yay points," and I said, "Boo points."
Oh yeah, right. Anyway, so moving on. Next game. Colts at the Ravens. Final score 25-31. Ravens with the comeback. The Colts actually looked decent this game. Like
They're finally coming back. Oh God, that was loud. I'm sorry.
What?
Never mind.
I didn't fucking hear anything. Anyway, so Carson Wentz 25 for 35, 402 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor with a rushing touchdown on the ground. Jonathan Taylor with a receiving touchdown, 116 yards. He had 53 rushing yards with 15 carries. Michael Pittman Jr., 6 attempts, 89 yards, a touchdown in the air. Over on the Ravens side of the ball, Lamar Jackson, 37 for 43, 442 yards, 4 touchdowns. Wait, really? He did that good? See here.
So
I imagine most of that came in the fourth quarter, though.
You talking about Taylor?
Jackson.
Oh, yes. So, I got my friend had Jackson, Jonathan Taylor, and what's the Ravens receiver?
Hold on, let me see here. Marquise Brown?
Yes.
Yeah, Andrews had 11 receptions, 147 yards, 2 touchdowns. Marquise Brown had 9 receptions, 125 yards, 2 touchdowns, which Marquise Brown and Andrew are also 2 more players I have in my fantasy league. I believe it's in Yahoo. I have both of them. So.
All right.
Anyway, moving on to the last game, and how much time do you have left?
I've got a time. We can talk about this one for a minute.
All right. So, field goals. Aaron Rodgers, 27 for 39 yards, 344 yards, 2 touchdowns, and interception. Rushing, there was no rushing touchdowns. Davante Adams went 11 receptions, 206 yards, and a touchdown. I'm going to make this claim right now. I said who the most overrated fucking quarterback in the NFL was. I believe the most underrated player in the NFL right now is Davante Adams. Like, given his track record.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Yeah, given his track record for the past 2 years, this year included, he has probably been the high point of that team. Say what you will about Rodgers, I honestly believe that if Davante Adams went down over Aaron Rodgers, I believe that the Packers would lose more games without Davante Adams than they would without Aaron Rodgers.
Which is why I'm looking forward to next year. There's going to be no Davante Adams, no Aaron Rodgers. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, this is a make or break year for the Packers, honestly. We established that at the beginning of the season. But anyway, the reason why we are touching up on this game and spending so much time on it, let's move down to the kicking. Mason Crosby had 7 field goal attempts, missed 3 of them. Wait, he only missed, I thought he missed more than 3.
He missed only 3, but they were all key.
Yeah, so
And they had a game-winning kick in the fourth quarter, and then they missed it.
and this game went to overtime, honestly, 25-22. This was my game of the week. Even with all the missed field goals, this was just an all-around entertaining game. Do not get me wrong. Like both teams, both teams were playing to lose this game.
The two funniest things about this game for me, the Bengals missing the kick in overtime but celebrating the win.
I mean, to be fair, I did think that went in at first. So.
Oh yeah, I did too. But the best thing, were you watching Tom Grossi's stream, or at least did you watch the recap?
I watched his reaction. He posted a video of his reaction to all the missed kicks and stuff. Yeah.
The absolute best thing, after all of the missed kicks and everything, they turned it off so that we could see Dallas and the Giants had their kickoff. Like, oof.
I mean, fortunately for me, since I stream most of my games online, I didn't have that issue.
So I was streaming that game, or I wasn't streaming it just because it was on local TV, and so I was like, eh. But it was streaming on my screen because it was in bonus coverage on another game. But I closed the tab out because I was like, I mean, what's the point of putting it up here whenever I've got it on TV? Like, I was blown away, but I was way too amused by the freak out to care that it was missed, that we missed it, or I missed it rather.
So the emphasis for this week was field goals and missed extra points, something that you should never do. Anyway, moving on to our picks for this week, since my friends just got back and we are pressed for time. Buccaneers, we all picked them to win. Dolphins at Jaguars. Hunter?
Dolphins.
Jaguars.
Yep.
Vikings at Panthers.
Panthers, I think.
I agree with that.
I might switch. I'm waiting to see on injury updates.
Yeah. So, Chargers at Ravens.
Chargers.
I also picked the Chargers, although it really depends. This could be a close game either way. Rams at Giants. I picked the Rams.
Yeah, Rams, obviously.
Texans at Colts. Hunter?
Texans at Colts. I'm going with the Colts.
I am going with the Texans here.
I would like to see you be right.
Both of them are 1-4. Both of them are coming up. Like you said, the Texans aren't as bad as we thought they were. The Colts are slowly getting better. But honestly, I believe the Texans have the better defense here. And that's saying something. Chiefs at Washington. Obviously, I've said this before. I am picking Washington. This could come back to bite me, but anyway, Packers at the Bears. I am picking the Packers. Bengals at the Lions.
Yep.
Oh, you're picking the Packers too, I assume.
Yeah, that's why I just said instead of.
Yeah, Bengals at the Lions. I am picking the Bengals.
I am too, but I'm gonna say I won't be surprised if the Lions pull it out.
Cardinals at Browns. Honestly, I believe this will be game of the week.
I do too, but I'm picking the Cardinals.
I am picking the Browns. I believe that Arizona's undefeated streak will come to an end here. I do not expect the Cardinals to go undefeated this whole entire season, and this is probably one of the only games that they have a chance to lose.
Mm-hmm.
So,
However, though, their schedule's still fairly. I decided to look at the three teams that are just dominant right now: Cardinals, Bills, and Chargers. And wow, the Bills have it pretty easy.
oh, definitely. So, moving on, Cowboys at Patriots. I am picking Dallas.
We them boys.
Up next, I did say that Cardinals and Browns would be the game of the week. Raiders at Broncos. I believe this is going to be the most overrated game of the week.
I don't even. I wouldn't say that just because I don't think anyone's looking to it as a good game.
Yeah, but
I am going with the Broncos.
I am also going with the Broncos, but we do have the best game, worst game, and sleeper game.
Yeah, you're right.
Speaking of which, we do need to establish what our worst and sleeper games for this week were.
I already said my worst game was. What did I say?
Mine was the Dolphins and Buccaneers.
I said the Bears and the Raiders.
That was my worst game. Now, the sleeper game of the week, I believe, has to be the Browns and Chargers. Because it was between the Packers and Bengals for game of the week or Browns and Chargers, but those missed field goals in that whole entire...
Can I pick the same game as my best game? Because no, I don't think any of us expected it to be the best game, so it was certainly a sleeper.
What?
The Vikings and the Lions.
No, you have to pick something else.
Okay, then. I'll go with the Packers and Bengals.
Yeah. See, I can't, like, as much as that game with the Vikings and Lions entertained me, I cannot pick that as the best game purely because I just feel so fucking sad. God damn, that cat's loud. Anyway, I just feel, like I said, I feel so sorry for the fucking Lions at this point. Anyway, moving on.
Hey. Little bitch looked me dead in the eyes and then yelled again.
Why the hell does he meow so much?
I don't know.
Oh my god. I am going to freaking slay a goddamn cat. Anyway, moving on. Seattle Seahawks at the Pittsburgh Steelers. I am picking the Steelers.
Yeah, I'm going with the Steelers.
Folks, I apologize for Hunter's cat. Hunter, please do me a favor from now on. When we do these podcasts, please keep him in another room.
Yeah, I honestly thought he was going to be more quiet. Last few weeks he's been fine.
Oh, maybe he needs to get some pussy.
Honestly, that's what he's. Fournette, another touchdown.
Sweet. Anyway, last game, Bills at the Titans. I'm picking the Bills.
Yep.
Anyway.
Alright, hold on a second. I know how to get him to be quiet. I just gotta pick him up for a minute. Hey. Alright. There we go. Little attention whore.
Anyway, so Bills at Titans. I'm picking the Bills.
I agree. I think it's gonna be a good game, though.
Yeah. So anyway,
do you know when the Manning cast comes back? Also, a way to watch it that you can send me later.
No, I don't.
Ah, damn.
Anyway, so this has been this week's episode of the Extra Point Podcast. Again, I do want to emphasize that at the beginning of the video, we did touch up on some controversial subjects. Do not repeat or condone any of what was said. And please do not try and repeat any of what was said in public. I honestly hope that all of our viewers are smarter than that.
And just better people.
Yeah, so anyway, I do apologize for Hunter's cat.
Yep. And I apologize for John's neighbor.
Yeah, but at least my neighbor wasn't meowing at the top.
I mean,
that would have been funny. Just random meow. Anyway, this has been the Extra Point Podcast. We will see you all again next week, and we are signing off. Goodbye.
all right.